patriotism has come into fashion. We seem to find our patriotic side alive.
We used to sing of our homeland with passion, but now we need to sing out loud with lots of pride.
I think we've shown the world that we will never hide.
This is a great country,
so let's shout it clear and loud. Take a look in your history book, and you'll see why we should be proud. Hats off to America, the home of the free and the brave. If this is flag waving, do you know of a better flag to wave? Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, your shore, the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Send these the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
The other day I chanced to meet a soldier friend of mine. He'd been in camp for several weeks and he was looking fine.
His muscles had developed and his cheeks were rosy red. I asked him how he liked the life, and this is what he said.
Oh, how I hate to get up in the morning. Oh, how I'd love to remain in bed. For the hardest blow of all is to hear the bugler call. You gotta get up, you gotta get up, you gotta get up this morning.
Someday I'm going to murder the bugler.
Someday they're going to find him dead.
I'll amputate his reveille and step upon it heavily and spend the rest of my life in bed. This is the army, Mr. Jones. No private rooms or telephones. You had your breakfast in bed before, but you won't have it there anymore. This is the army, Mr. Green. We like the barracks nice and clean. You had a housemaid to clean your floor, but she won't help you out anymore. Do what the buglers command. They're in the army and not in a band.
This is the army, Mr.
This
Brown.
is the army, Mr. Brown.
Baby went to
You
town.
and your baby went to town.
But this is war,
And you won't have to worry anymore.
stay too long. Yeah. Now I'm wondering if love's still strong. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Here I am, baby. That time I went and said goodbye. Hey, now I'm back to not ashamed to cry. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Here I am, baby. I'm yours.
I'm signed.
Yeah.
You got my future in your hand, baby. I'm yours.
And I'm gonna be yours.
And here I am, baby.
Yeah.
I'm yours.
I'm signed.
Yeah.
You got my future in your hands, baby. I'm yours. I'm yours. And here I am, baby. I'm yours. I'm signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours, baby. I'm yours. I'm yours. And here I am, baby. I'm yours. I'm signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours, baby. I'm yours. Yeah. And here I am, things that I really didn't mean. Come on, see the light and things in this old world, yeah. But when I touch the land, nothing, girl, baby. Here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, baby. Here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, baby. Here I am, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours.
Boom, boom. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom.
Seaside, whenever you stroll along with me,
I'm merely contemplating what
you feel inside. Meanwhile, I'd ask you to be my Clementine. You say you would if you could, but you can't.
Oh, I love you madly. Let my imagination run away.
with you gladly.
Brand new angle, highly commendable seaside rendezvous.
I feel so romantic.
Can we do it again? Can we do it again sometime?
Like
Fantastic.
C'est la vie, mesdames et messieurs.
Mesdames et messieurs,
And at the peak of the season, the Mediterranean.
this time of year.
It's so fashionable.
Ooh.
Boom, boom.
I feel like dancing.
In the rain,
Can I have a volunteer?
just keep right on dancing. What a darn jolly good idea. Jolly good idea.
It's such a jollification as a matter of fact.
So très charmant, my dear. Ooh, ooh, oh, underneath the moonlight, together we'll sail across the sea, reminiscing every night. Meantime, I ask you to be my Valentine. You say you'd have to tell your daddy.
You'd have to tell your daddy.
You'd have to tell your daddy.
If you can, I'll be your Valentino. We'll ride upon an omnibus and then
The casino.
get a new facial, start a sensational seaside rendezvous.
So adorable. Seaside rendezvous.
Ooh, seaside rendezvous.
Give us a kiss.
Boom. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are the United States Army Voices, part of the United States Army Band Pershing Zone, and we close our portion of the program now with a selection featuring our soprano staff sergeant promotable, Tracy Lebrecht. This is My Country, 'Tis of Thee.
My
Ladies and gentlemen, the voices of the U.S. Army Band, Pershing Zone. The ceremony will begin shortly. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Public Service Recognition Week Spirit of Service Ceremony. Please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of the colors, the singing of our national anthem, and the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming? And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Deputy Pentagon Chaplain Eddie Kinley.
Let us reverently bow our heads. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. Eternal Heavenly Father, we have gathered here this morning to honor and recognize the men and women who serve our nation and who have excelled in performance, leadership, and self-improvement. So today we thank you for building a spirit of resilience and determination within the hearts and souls of each person who has embodied the core values of honor, integrity, and excellence. Continue to mold and envelop them with a sense of professionalism and pride. As always, we ask and pray for your abiding grace and mercy on this great country that we so proudly protect and serve. It is in your name that we pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Rhodes.
Folks, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for joining us on this beautiful day here in the Pentagon Courtyard. It's my pleasure to welcome you to our 7th annual Public Service Recognition Week event, our Spirit of Service ceremony. I want to especially thank the Joint Service Color Guard, the Army Voices, the singer from the Army band there that did the national anthem, and Chaplain Kinley for his words. They add so much to the reverence of this ceremony. I also want to thank all those that were involved. As we all know, it takes so many to put on an event like this, and it is an important event, an opportunity to recognize people, but thank you to all those who were involved in putting today's ceremony together. Today we take the opportunity in conjunction with Public Service Recognition Week to recognize 23 outstanding civilian employees from the National Capital Region. Those employees, as the chaplain mentioned in his prayer, display the core qualities of honor, integrity, and excellence in everything they do every day for this department, as well as in their communities and across their churches, schools, and other activities that they're involved in. I can't think of a better venue than here in the courtyard of the Pentagon, in this special place, the nation's defense headquarters, to conduct today's event. And we're honored to have leaders from across the department here. Thank you very much for joining us, co-workers, friends, family who are joining us. While many very important people are here, I do want to recognize three that will be participating in today's recognition. Mr. Carl Snyder, who's performing the duties of the Undersecretary of the Army, Mr. Bill O'Donnell, who's the Assistant for Administration to the Department of the Navy, and Ms. Pat Zarodkowitz, who's performing the duties of the Undersecretary of the Air Force. Thank you for participating in today's event. I also want to certainly call out our key speaker today, the Deputy Secretary of Defense, for joining us. I will tell you that as tends to happen sometimes, his schedule's been kind of moving all over the place today. But one of the things he did was he said, "I will be there. I will be there." He's going to have to leave after his remarks, but he wanted to be here to honor the workforce as a whole and certainly to recognize today's honorees. So we thank you for being here, sir, for joining us today. And with that, I would just lastly make the comment that our Deputy Secretary, our 32nd Deputy Secretary of Defense, spent his career in uniform as a Marine, and then after serving as a Marine, comes back to serve for 4 years as our Undersecretary of the Navy, and now 3 years as the Deputy Secretary of Defense. This was the very first event that he oversaw when he became the 32nd Deputy Secretary of Defense. It is certainly my personal pleasure, privilege, and honor to be able to introduce the Honorable Robert Work. Sir?
Well, good morning, everybody. How are you today? Doesn't sound too good. I mean, this is a heck of a place to be today, so I hope you're all doing well. Thanks, Mike, for that the kind remarks, and thanks for making this happen. And for all of the people, I'd like to echo Mike's comments on everyone who did this, from the color guard to the singers to everyone who set this up. And I'd ask you to give me, just join me in a big round of applause for everybody. I also want to thank the senior leaders of the department, colleagues from across the department and from our services who've joined us here today to recognize a special group of people who exemplify the best of the department and who truly embody the spirit of public service, which is what we are celebrating today. The Department of Defense, I tell everybody this, we are the largest business on the planet. Our business is the national security of our great nation, and business is booming. All you have to do is look across the world, watch the weekly news, watch on the morning. There is something going on around the world where American men and women are forward, protecting our citizens, our allies, and our country. And our true competitive advantage. I talk to this all the time. A lot of people do know that I think a lot about technology and all about how technological advantage provides us with enormous competitive advantage in the world. But I tell everyone the key competitive advantage that the Department of Defense and the U.S. military has is its people. So we're here to celebrate our people and to celebrate the spirit of public service that they represent, which really defines this department and defines what each and every one of you who we're going to recognize today and the 3 million men and women who are in the department do every day. So to today's awardees, I want to say to you, congratulations. Your drive, your dedication, your professionalism, your spirit, they set an extremely high bar for all of us in the department. So on behalf of Secretary Mattis, whose schedule is even more crazy than mine, I want to thank each and every one of you for your service. Now, the people we honor here today come from different backgrounds. They have different missions, but all are bound by this common pledge of public service to serve and defend our great nation. They analyze intelligence. They facilitate logistics. They manage our human resources. They oversee our information systems. They keep us all interconnected. They engage Congress, and they develop critical strategies and plans. Through all of this, they are here to enable our warfighters and to help senior leaders like me and the Secretary and our undersecretaries to make important decisions to make the department run. Their hard work, and of so many others that they represent, is what keeps us strong. You all contribute to this vital mission that I spoke of before, and each of you and those you represent, you ought to be waking up every single day knowing that you are making a vital difference to our country and making our citizens safe. President Kennedy said in his inaugural address, and I have used this quote every single time I have come here, this will be my 4th time, "Let the public service be a proud and lively career, and let every man and woman who works in any area of our national government, in any branch, at any level, be able to say with pride and with honor in future years, I served the United States government in the hour of our nation's need." So as I said before, all you got to do is look around the world, and there should be no questions in your mind that all of you are serving at a time where our nation really needs you. And the nation is very proud and grateful for your service. And as I said, we are all grateful for your work. So tomorrow will be my 3rd-year anniversary as the Deputy Secretary of Defense. Every day I come in and sometimes I say, oh my God, I'm going to the same meeting for the 110th time. But no matter what, the thing that keeps me jazzed every day, every single day, are the people I get to work with and the people I get to interact with. It is truly one of the greatest pleasures that I have. I'm impressed by the patriotism of all those surround me, the knowledge, the passion, from the lowest grades in our civilian workforce to the senior executive service. That passion is on display every day to me and to the Secretary, not only about their own work, but again, about the mission of the Department of Defense. And that is what I find to be so impressive and inspiring. They also, we also celebrate the Combined Federal Campaign. And in addition to serving their nation, the people who work in this department are extraordinarily giving of themselves. They're compassionate volunteers in their communities. It really is quite inspiring. So I want everyone here to rest assured that Secretary Mattis and I are well aware of the things that the civilian workforce provides to the department and just how important all of you are in making our military the best in the world. We're indebted to all of our public servants and the service they've given to this nation, and we couldn't be prouder of having you in our civilian workforce and the total force that makes the Department of Defense so strong. I salute all of you. I thank you for what is done, what you have done, what you will do. God bless you and all the men and women who serve our nation, and especially those in harm's way. I'm sorry I have to leave, but I would like to shake the hands of all of our awardees and give you a coin. If you drop the coin, you will owe everyone here a beer. So I'm just giving you fair warning. Thank you all for being here today. God bless you all.
Thank you. Deputy Secretary Work will now present coins to the honorees. Will the honorees please be seated? We will now begin the presentation portion.
In a moment. Thank you very much. As always, we are flexible and adaptable, and we certainly appreciate the deputy's time. And he just wanted to make sure and get an opportunity to tell you each individually thank you, even though his calendar had changed. So we do thank the deputy for that. I will tell you that the Public Service Recognition Week has actually been in existence since 1985. The Department of Defense actually participated in a government-wide one for the National Capital Region down on the Mall for the first almost 25 years. But then we decided to separately have our own event here for the family, for our public servants that work in the Department of Defense. Public Service Recognition Week recognizes all those at the federal, state, and local level in public service and honoring them. But we've been able to have this event here for the last 7 years. In a few moments, we'll be able to recognize formally with organizational leadership from the various components the 19 honorees that are here today. But I do want to mention 4 others who were not able to be in attendance today to make sure they are recognized. And I know their component will do something separately. But for today's event, I do want to highlight Ms. Stacy Royston from the Army Office of the Assistant Chief of Staff for Installation Management. Yes, thank you. Mr. Rufus Godwin who is from the Headquarters Marine Corps. Ms. Susan Swink from Directorate of Studies, Analysis, and Assessments from Headquarters Air Force. And then also Ms. Ruby Hill, who also is from the Department of the Air Force. It was our fourth one who couldn't be here today. It's because of people like them, because of people like you, who never lose sight of the mission, that we are able to respond. As the deputy said, that we are able to perform in these challenging times to serve with this critical mission. And I will tell you quite honestly, I am humbled to be a part of this public servant workforce. And I thank you all for all you do. And with that, we'll begin the presentations.
We will now begin the presentation portion of today's ceremony. The award recipients from the Office of the Secretary of Defense, our Mr. Kenneth Blunt, Acquisitions and IT Program Manager, Innovation and Engagement Division of the Department of Defense Interagency Program Office. Ms. Kimberly Hermando, Health Systems Specialist, Lead for Health Information Exchange, Health Information Technology Directorate, Solutions Delivery Division, Defense Health Agency. Mr. Rizwan Ramakadalawa, Senior Engineer, Defense Technology Security Administration, Office of the Secretary of Defense for Policy. Thank you. Mr. Carl Snyder, Senior Career Official performing the duties under the Secretary of the Army, please come to the stage for the Army presentations. Ms. Laverne Berry, Program Analyst, Directorate of Diversity and Equal Opportunity Employment, Office of the Administrative Assistant to the Secretary of the Army. Ms. Kelly Diggs, Management Analyst, Directorate of Mission Assurance, Office of the Administrative Assistant to the Secretary of the Army. Mr. William Ford, Senior Resource Analyst, Office of the Assistant Chief of Staff for Installation Management. Ms. Deborah Gant, Senior Management Analyst, Civilian Aides to the Secretary of the Army, Office of the Administrative Assistant to the Secretary of the Army. Ms. Caroline Hay, Policy Assistant, G1 Sexual Harassment and Assault Response and Prevention Program Office. Mr. Frederick Hunter, Military Human Resource Specialist, Human Resources Management Directorate, Office of the Administration Assistant to the Secretary of the Army. Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Mr. Bill O'Donnell, Assistant Administration for the Department of the Navy, please come to the stage for the Navy and Marine Corps presentations. The award recipient from the Navy is Ms. Sharon Williams, Management Analysis, Branch Head, Conferences and Programs Branch, Assistant for Administration. We will now recognize the recipients from the Marine Corps. Mr. Daniel Corbin, Chief Technology Advisor, Senior Leader, Command, Control, Communications, and Computers, Headquarters, Marine Corps. Mr. Harry Oland, Program Manager, NHIV, Information Systems and Infrastructure, Marine Corps Systems Command. Mr. William Whaley, Human Resources Director, Human Resources and Organizational Management Branch, Administration and Resources Management Division, Headquarters, Marine Corps. Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell. Ms. Patricia Zawodkowitz, performing the duties under the Secretary of the Air Force, please come to the stage for the Air Force presentations. The award recipients from the Air Force are Mr. Peter Bonono, Director of Staff, Strategic Plans, Programs and Requirements, Headquarters, Air Force. Miss Amy Bro, Associate General Counsel, Fiscal, Ethics, and Administrative Law Division, Office of the Air Force General Counsel. Mr. Mark Cummings, Deputy Division Chief, Air Force Checkmate, Director of Operations, Deputy Chief of Staff of Operations, Headquarters, Air Force. Mr. Robert Hubbs, Supervisory Management Analyst, Manpower Division, Resources Directorate, Office of the Administrative Assistant to the Secretary of the Air Force, Headquarters, Air Force. Ms. Jessica Nordby, Resource Manager, Office of Public Affairs, Secretary of Air Force. Mr. Stephen Pierce, Deputy Division Chief, Secretary of the Air Force Legislative Liaison. Thank you, Ms. Zarodkowitz. Would the honorees please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, the individuals that stand before us epitomize the tenets of public service, honor, integrity, and excellence. Please give a round of applause for our 2017 Spirit of Service honorees. Be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rhodes.
So who knew the rowdy group today would be the Air Force, but that's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining us as we recognize these individuals who truly reflect the spirit of service, of honor, of integrity, of excellence in everything they do professionally and personally. I will happen to pull, while we think of the professional side of it, you need to know that we've got some examples here just from some of the individuals, from mentoring young people in science, engineering, technology, and math, helping them to leading them in robotics competitions and submarine races, to volunteering at an international conference in violence against women, to traveling to West Africa multiple times on humanitarian missions to provide safe drinking water, to leading in organization-wide holiday gift drives to support hundreds in the National Capital Region, particularly of children suffering with cancer. That's what we have here, not only professional excellence, but personal excellence, and committed to their communities and to their fellow person. The dedication and professionalism that is reflected here truly speaks to the capabilities of the individuals. And I have to tell you, it truly inspires me to be able to work with such a tremendous group. Here in a moment, we will end the ceremony. Please take an opportunity to come forward and congratulate our honorees. We also have some refreshments here. And then a little later, in honor of this week, Public Service Recognition Week, there will be a performance, some entertainment that will be provided, and we thank the Army Band for that. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you very much for taking the time to be here, even the rowdy ones for the Air Force, and joining us as we were able to conduct this recognition for these 23 individuals, but truly to recognize our public service workforce. Thank you all very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the departure of Mr. Rhodes.